Hey, it's Drybear. And if you've made the right decision to play Necromancer in Season 1 of Diablo 4, then today I've got you covered. One of the biggest requests from my launch Necro leveling guide was, can you give us a step-by-step on the skill points? What level do I put in what skill rather than just the finished product? So I've gone a step further and given you everything that you need to know about Necromancer from level 1 to 100 in the seasonal progression. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, you should come hang out with me on my live stream. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/Drybear. If you don't come hang out with me and the community, the next time you go to put ketchup on something, you're going to forget to shake the bottle and the little oozy, oily water is going to come out first. Okay, so I've made this one sheet. This is a big image that I have uploaded online. You'll find it linked down below in the description. If you need to, you can come to my live stream and enter in !Necro LVL for Necro level. And this image, a link to this image will show up for you if you need it for a reference. And this is a full image that's 2 monitor sizes big. So the first half of the monitor size of this image is going to be the map with all the key points of where you would want to go. It has the skill build, the Book of the Dead in the top right, where you lay your skills out, including your summons. It has all the stats that you want for leveling. While you're leveling, I do recommend aiming for 1 stat that you can get. Obviously, you want to get the best weapons and gear that you can while leveling, but if you get the option for an upgrade and 2 are close together, this is the stat that I would prioritize over other options if you get the chance. Scrolling down, you can actually see recommendations on how to gear and look for gear. And then I have the full skill progression from level 1 to level 50, as well as the full progression progress from making your character all the way until you hit level 100, where to go, what to do, what to imprint, and all of that. So you'll find that link down below in the description, but of course we'll run through that here today. Starting with the skill build, I do still think that Bone Spear is the best option for leveling. It's very clean, and I do think you want to run with Golem and your skeletons. They provide a nice buffer for enemy projectiles coming in. They pull aggro in the latest patch. There's a lot of really cool things going on there, and then you can very easily add in Bone Storm, which doubles on your Golem, and Corpse Tendril to deal with large groups and help dealing with mechanics and objectives that you run into in general. And then for Book of the Dead, it helps a lot for the Reapers to generate corpses for you with their second upgrade. The Cold Mages, you can either run with the first for more essence or the second for vulnerable. One gives you more damage, one gives you more damage by giving you more casts of Bone Spear. So they both kind of work for the same purpose while leveling. And then for the Golem, since we're going to run a little bit of Thorns, get more Thorns and HP on the Bone Golem so you can actually get more value out of that. Keep in mind that the Bone Golem will come active level 25, but then from then on, it's smooth sailing. He adds a very nice element to your leveling. I have the full skill progression here on the left side of the screen down in orange. This is level 1, grab Bone Splinters, enhance Bone Splinters, and then I've also added in the rank of the ability, if it's 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. That way you know exactly when that progresses and the order in which that I would recommend picking them up for that. I'm not going to run through each one of these. These are here. You can follow it or you can make your own build, but this is what I would recommend for leveling Necro. But we will go through is the progression steps because there's a lot of tricks of the trade here that I want to make clear to you if you are, maybe you're playing Necromancer for the first time, or maybe you're leveling for the first time. You just started season with this kind of build. The first thing that I would do is I would actually recommend making your character on World Tier 1. Hopefully you've already done the campaign. If you haven't, this guide is for people that are starting a new character that have done the campaign. If you haven't done the campaign, unfortunately, you will have to do it. So this route doesn't really work for you. You just have to go through the campaign as fast as you can. If you blow through the campaign, you should end up anywhere from level 35 to 45, which means that you can pick up on this list around the step 21 is when you can pick up. Then you can go into unlocking World Tier 3 and doing that. So wherever it is that you end up after completing the campaign, pick that up on the progress here. I have the levels listed in the steps, so you can actually get that working for you as well. But you will have to do the campaign if you haven't yet. If you've already done the campaign, make your new character under World Tier 1 difficulty, skip the campaign, and make sure that it is a seasonal character, of course, so you have that going for you. If you are inheriting Renown skill points, which means that you had Renown carrying over from before, then I would recommend just spending those. And it gives you a really nice jump in strength right off the bat, which means that you can start blowing through a lot of this very easily. While you're leveling, keep a keen eye out for yellow or rare rings and amulets that have at least one good stat on them in general. So movement speed on amulet is really good. Physical damage, bone skill damage is really good. Vulnerable damage is still the best for rings. You also get crit damage as well, or even max life are all great choices. But you really want to keep in mind those, you want 2 rings, 2 yellow rings, and an amulet. And you want to be watching for these for the next 25 levels, because when we hit 25, we're going to imprint with some legendary aspects that'll make us fly all the way to 50 very easily. So keep that in mind. You also want to be salvaging all your gear at the blacksmith, because when we hit 25, in order to imprint, we will need around 30 to 50 veiled crystals. So just make sure that every time that you don't have gear or you don't need gear, go to the blacksmith, salvage it all, especially if it's legendary or if it's rare, and get those veiled crystals because you will need them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Lost Archives and Fractured Peaks and complete it fully one time. So if you spawn here, this is Kyovashad right here on the screen underneath the 24. This is Kyovashad. It's actually this little area that you see here. That is the area that the Lost Archives is in, and it's number 5 on the map. So you can spawn here, go straight southwest, go straight down into this little nook right here down in the bottom, and inside of that will be Lost Archives. The minimum level for Lost Archives is level 1. So you'll be able to walk right in, all the mobs will be level 1, and it'll be a breeze. What's great about Lost Archives is it's very dense, it's a very easy layout, and you can run it over and over and over. So what you want to do is run it completely full one time, because we will need 1 Fractured Peaks completion, dungeon completion for this for our seasonal journey. So complete it once, and then when you're done, you can leave dungeon and then reset it by logging out, or hit the reset dungeon button if it works for you. And then you'll just go back in as soon as you load back in, and keep doing that and clearing it until you hit level 12. The first time you will clear Lost Archives up to the last boss and kill the last boss. And then for every time after that, clear up to the boss and then reset without killing the boss. The boss will spawn adds. The adds in the boss fight don't give experience, so skip that. What's great about this is it is a keystone dungeon, which means that there are keystones to pick up. When you pick up any objective inside a dungeon, it gives you movement speed. So use this to your advantage. You want to go all the way to the right or all the way to the left inside Lost Archives, pick up the keystone, and then leave it on your back. Run around, clear everything in the dungeon up to the boss. Before the boss, leave, reset, do it again. So run straight to the keystone, pick it up, use that movement speed to clear faster. This helps a lot with the slower moving classes like Necromancer, and then you want to keep resetting that until you are done. You want to run this until you're level 12, exactly level 12 or very close to it or just after it. When you're done with that, leave the game and set world difficulty to tier 2. We're going to do this because we're now going to start doing whispers, which will get better loot from the cache when we're on a higher difficulty, and we'll get better rewards as well in general. So we want to do that. So set to world tier 2, skip when you're running Grim Favor events. So in game, you'll see all of the events on the map that are marked for the whispers. Only do events that are marked for Grim Favors or whispers. Skip every mob along the way, and do not do any oval events that are not attached to the whisper system. I've tested this. It is an efficiency loss to do anything that isn't attached to whispers, because the vast majority of the XP you're getting at this point is from completing the Grim Favors and turning in your whisper cache. So that's your priority. Stay on your mount, move, get to the whispers, clear them, get to the next one, clear them, and move forward. If you get an opportunity, you can run a whispers dungeon, clear that out and get done with it. I would try to avoid some of the ones that are a little bit worse, but in general, you can run them and clear them out, and they're worth 5 points as well. So run Tree of Whispers until you're about level 17. Shouldn't take very long. Less than an hour for most players. You should fly from 12 to 17 very, very fast. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to head to Old Stones in Skosglen, which is going to be number 9 on the map. So we're going to go up here, and we want to go to Old Stones, which is right here. It's to the east of Emerald Chase, right above the Downs here. So if your map isn't cleared for you, it's just north of Coeur Dragon. You can come in here through the east on the top of Fractured Peaks, or from the west side, right underneath Firebreak Manor if you'd like. But come up here. This is where Old Stones is. Clear that dungeon and unlock the aspect that comes with it, which is going to be Edgemaster's aspect, one of the aspects we're going to imprint. Head to Stronghold Tuldura, which is going to be the stronghold up here in the corner on the northwest side. So on the map itself, you see this is the map. This is Fractured Peaks over here with all these numbers. We're going to go to number 10 and number 11. The reason we do this is because Tuldura is a level 15 minimum stronghold. We'll get a big bonus of XP clearing it, and then we'll get another big chunk of XP when we ring the bell at the end of it. So another big chunk there. And once you clear it, it'll unlock 2 dungeons inside of it, and we want to do one of them. So number 10, go to Turdura, do the event, clear it as fast as you can, ring the bell. When it's done, get the waypoint, and then you want to go to number 11, which is going to be the Under Root. What's great about Under Root is that when we do it, you get the aspect of the expectant. While leveling, you don't have enough essence generation to spam Bone Spear constantly. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the aspect of the expectant, which means that you add damage every time you cast a basic skill, and then the next core skill consumes it. And then you can solve this essence problem by casting Bone Splinters 2 to 4 times, then Bone Spear. And then you do it that way. You can build up tons of essence. You can apply Vulnerable or get crit chance from Bone Splinters, get a big Bone Spear, and it kind of gets into that rhythm. That means that, while we do have to cast our basic, we get damage from that, which is pretty cool. After the Tuldura, we want to do Underroot, get that unlocked, and then head to Gulran Canals in Dry Steppes, because this will unlock our splintering aspect. This aspect was nerfed in the last patch, but it still is amazing. That's going to be number 12 here, so just south of Skosglen, you're going to come down into Jakha Basin. It's this little small region. You can see the regions even if your map is completely fog of war covered. It's down here, and it's in the middle of the dungeon, or middle of the area, just north, like in this middle. There's this little vertical line here. It is at the end of that. It is a cave you want to go down and clear. That will give you the Codex aspect, Splintering. Now you have all 3 aspects that you're going to use to level all the way through World Tier 2 to the end to unlock World Tier 3, and we'll be able to imprint those once we hit level 25. So once we're done with that, we're going to finish that, and then now it's time to finish leveling up to 27. So since we're in the area, we're going to do the Onyx Watchtower, which is going to be number 13. So if you're already at Dry Steppes at this point, and you're already doing Gulran Canals, Onyx Watchtower is like the 3rd best stronghold for experience. So we're here, we may as well do it. We need to do it for renown anyway. So we're going to pop over just a couple lanes over, do Onyx Watchtower. This one's super dense. You can even reset it and run it a couple times if you want. It is very XP efficient and will drop a good amount of items. Then when you're satisfied, just ring the bell, complete it. You'll get a big chunk of XP, and then we're done. And then after that, again, we want to get to level 27. So since we're done with that, we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is we're going to run Tree of Whispers bounties as fast as we can, going from Whisper Bounty, Whisper Bounty, Whisper Bounty, until we hit level 27. Shouldn't take too long, just keep running them. Then when you're done with that, port to town, unlock the Occultist by clicking on it and getting that, that vendor unlocked, and then imprint Expectant and Edgemasters onto the 2 yellow rings you've been saving, and then Splintering aspect to a yellow amulet, and then you leave those on until you hit World Tier 3, unless you find a good enough replacement, and Codex imprints are infinite, so you can use that as well. But you care more about having that, and having a bad amulet or a bad ring for stats while leveling is not very consequential at all. It doesn't affect you. It's more important that you have very good armor and good weapons that are just yellow and the highest level. Now we have 3 legendary powers. We're level 27. It is a perfect time to pick up our Golem. So we're going to go do our class quest. It's level 25 required. We'll blow right through it. It'll be super easy. Get your Golem unlocked. And then since we're in Fractured Peaks, we want to go do Malnock and Core Dragon, because again, those are very efficient strongholds. Malnock is going to be number 17 here. It is just to the east of Kyovashad right here, number 17. And then number 18 is Core Dragon, so just north of Kyovashad. You want to clear this and complete it. Again, both these strongholds are very efficient. If you want to reset them over and over instead of doing Whispers, you can. They're pretty decent as well. But complete those because you'll need them for renown anyways, and they give a boatload of XP, which is super cool. So we're going to get those done, and then you want to run Tree of Whispers bounties until level 32. It's very possible that from those 2 strongholds, you'll get 2 to 4 levels, which means you'll probably end at level 30 or 31, and then you'll do a couple bounties, and you'll very easily hit 32, and that part of your journey will be done. Then we want to head to Temple of Rot, which is the best stronghold in the game for XP. It's also one of the shortest. Complete and ring the bell to finalize. So you can go to Temple Rot, which is number 20 in the Dry Steppes. It is southwest of the Onyx Watchtower, so number 20 on the map. Come here, run it a couple times if you want, or just run it once and complete it if you like doing Whispers. They're both very efficient. Get that done, and then you want to run Tree of Whispers bounties until about level 45 or 50, whenever you feel comfortable doing the Capstone dungeon. That's where it matters the most. So once most people do it around 45 to 50. You can do it sooner if you want. You can do it level 40 if you're really feeling like it. So you can do that there or even earlier. But keep in mind that the minimum level of mobs inside World Tier 3 is going to be 55 anyway. So the earlier you do it, the harder the mobs will be when you get to World Tier 3. So around level 45 to 50 is when most people do it. Get to that point, then prepare to do your Capstone dungeon. Update equipment with highest level rares possible. So you still have your dummy amulet and rings that you don't care about, and then you have all of your yellow armor and yellow weapons. Go to the Purveyor of Curiosities with all the obols you've been collecting through Whispers and roll for your weakest gear. So if you have a bad boot, if you had a bad glove, a bad chest, a bad weapon, you want to get a two-hand, you want to get a one-hand, roll for obols, because obols will always give you gear closest to your level, which means it'll very often be better than what you're wearing. So use that to upgrade those. And then when you're done with that and you're happy with your armor and your attack power ratings, go to the blacksmith, upgrade your weapons to level 3, which is the cheapest, most efficient way. You can go higher if you have extra resources. Go clear the Capstone dungeon, which is at the north of Kyovashad here, number 24. So Kyovashad's here. It's in the cathedral right north of it. Clear the Capstone dungeon. You can also do this in a group if you want. There's no death limit in Capstone. You can keep trying and trying, or you can do it in a group if you want to clear it. Then once you're done with that, leave game and then set difficulty to World Tier 3, and you have entered in to the first steps of your end game. Now your leveling build doesn't need to stay the way that it is. You've gotten through the Capstone, you're good to go, and you're safe to start kind of investing in that. So whatever end game build that you're running with, start piecing it together. You don't have to do it right away, but just start working towards it, because you know that's where that's going to come from. And once you hit level 50, you'll start getting Paragon points as well. I have tons of Necro builds on my channel that are all still viable for Season 1. I won't update them for the Malignant Hearts, but their base is still there if you want to try to use that for inspiration or use it as a build that get you into endgame. Once you're in World Tier 3, do your best to replace normal gear with sacred gear. You want to do this as quickly as possible, but you don't have to, fervishly go after it. Just kind of keep your sacred gear moving up. You can extract legendaries and imprint them on new sacred gear, but sacred gear in general is going to be better for you. Complete one full Tree of Whispers by getting 10 Grim Favors again in World Tier 3. This is important because now when you open the Tree of Whispers cache in World Tier 3, it's going to give you a Nightmare Sigil. They changed it so it always drops 1 when you clear it. So now you have your first Nightmare Sigil, and Nightmare Dungeons are by far the best experience in the entire game, and you also need them to level up your glyphs to make you stronger. So you want to be doing Nightmare Dungeons from level 50 up to 100 as your primary source of gearing and leveling glyphs. So once you have your first dungeon, I recommend just running it. It's not going to have too many affixes on it. Complete several Nightmare Dungeons or at least one dungeon at Sigil level 3. Once you do this, the Sigil crafting will unlock at the Occultist, and you're good to go to do whatever you want. While you're leveling, try to complete Legion events, Hell Tides when they pop up, and World Bosses. If you haven't gotten the cash for that boss, it's going to be a good chunk of value for you. World Bosses also drop rare crafting materials and resources. So even if you're going for not even the loot, it's still worth it for that. But in general, your most efficient is going to be for the first kill you have on that world boss that week, and it resets every Thursday. Run Nightmare Dungeon Sigils that are at your level or just above. They don't need to be +3 anymore. That part has gone away with the last patch. And you can refer to my Master XP list for the most optimal Season 1 dungeons. I have that updated with all the Season 1 dungeons on it. And you can also continue running Whispers and Bounties. They made it a little bit better, but I haven't tested too much of the Tier 3 and Tier 4 Bounty XP. Nightmare Dungeons are still going to be superior. Run Nightmare Dungeons and Overworld events until you're about 65 to 70, because we're going to do the Capstone again. Upgrade your weapons at the Blacksmith to level 3 to 5. Complete the Capstone Dungeon. Unlock Tier 4. Reset. Set difficulty to World Tier 4. Now you're going into World Tier 4. Now you really want to start replacing all of your gear with Ancestral gear. You don't have to do it right away, but really try to work towards it. Ancestral is going to give your biggest boost, and it means you can start re-rolling the stats on them as well. Now you're aiming to perfect stats on your gear as well as your legendary aspects. Look for all the pieces that you need and optimize the gear that you have. And then you just run Nightmare Dungeons and Overworld events until you hit level 100, and then you start doing your malignant hearts, your tunnels, you start upgrading those, you fight Varshan or Uber Lilith, or try to do Nightmare 100, but at this point you are good to go. So that is the full run of everything that you need for Necromancer, the full skill build for every single level, the steps from making your character all the way until getting level 100 and being good to go, the stats you want, the strategy for gearing, the full Book of the Dead, everything that hopefully you will need, including a map on where to go for the key points of interest. So hopefully this was helpful for you in leveling Necromancer this season. Good luck, have fun. If you enjoyed the video or you found value in it, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and I will see you on my live stream. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.